All right, so our topic today is going to be mail merge or merging, and I'm going to cover the basics of it, and then we're going to get into demonstrating it, and we're actually going to do some envelopes and labels as well. So I'm hoping to cover all three of the modules, 76, 77, and 78 today, and we should when you finish, you should at least have a really good understanding of a mail merge. So, what is a mail merge? Well, a mail merge is having a form document and being able to merge that document with a data file to create a completed merge. So, when you receive a letter from, well, all your junk mail, and they personalize absolutely everything into it. When you get these emails that or these letters come in the mail looking for donations, and they got your name absolutely everywhere in it, and they're making it feel like it's so personal. This is all done by mail merge. Somebody actually didn't sit down and write us all an individual letter. That's one main letter. And then the merge is the field codes for our name and our address and anything specific to us. And then when they merge it together, it creates personal letters for every single person. So it's brilliantly done. So I'm going to run through the basics of it first, and then I have a video pre-made that I'm going to display for you guys. So when we do a mail merge, we're going to start right here in the mailings tab, and we're going to go with start mail merge. This is your mail merge wizard. If you hit the drop down arrow, you can choose letters, and you can choose email addresses or email messages. You can choose your envelopes. You can choose your labels, a directory, a normal Word document, or step-by-step mail merge wizard. So we're just going to pop into the wizard right now, and they're going to ask us what we want to start with. So we're going to keep it as a letter, and then we're going to hit the next. So with the wizard, they take you through it and they keep asking you what you want. So we're going to say we're going to use our current document because this one's a blank one and we're ready to use it. So we're just going to say next. And then it says, do we want to select the recipients? So use an existing list, use Outlook contacts, or type a new list. So if you say worked for the town office, I like this one because everybody gets this one, and you used you were the town clerk and you were doing uptown taxes, um, this would be, you would have a list, either a list created or you would have an Excel file where you would have the person's name, the person's address, and the person's amount owing into this list. So you can just use a list that's created as long as your merge codes, which will merge field codes, which we'll talk about in a minute, match exactly to what you're putting into it. So the best thing for us right now is we're going to type a new list. And so type the name so we can choose to create it and we can choose to write our letter. So we're going to create our new list. So once you create the new list, this opens up a document, a special part of Word where it's like a database where you can store a bunch. You can save this, you can reuse it. This can be your file instead of the Excel file. However, this is more, um, Excel file is easier to work with for updating and changing all the time. So, but they can also work together. So, oh, I don't want it that big. Okay, so now we're going to put in some names. So we can also customize our columns. So that's what we need to do right now, because if you look at these columns, you have title, first name, last name, company, address, 1, 2, city, state. We're not in the US. We don't want state. So let's take it and we're going to rename it as province. and we're going to say okay. And zip code, we want to rename as postal code. Okay, we're only sending this local, so we don't need the country. We can delete it. So, yep, we want to remove it. And we're not putting in any of these things, so we can delete them all. So we're going to delete. Ooh, was postal code. Okay, delete and delete. Okay, so now this is the information we want included. So we're good with that. So we're gonna say, okay. If we needed to add one, there was an add button as well. So if you wanted to add the amount, actually, let's do that. We're going to add one and we're going to call it add amount. We're going to say okay. So this is your data. So this is your data file. This is where all your information to make it personalized is going to come from. So I'm only going to stick a couple people in here. So let's put in Mr. Joe Smith. Oops. Oh, amount shouldn't have been over there. So now we see that the amount is in the wrong place. So I'm going to customize that again. And I'm going to take the amount and I'm just going to move it all the way down to the bottom. And say okay again. And that'll move it over for me. So now I'm going to just change it again to Smith Company. We're going to say ABC Cleaning, 123, any street. We don't have an address too, but if you did, you could have P.O. Box if you necessary. And we're just going to call this one Gander, Newfoundland. And we're just going to make up some crazy postal code. And our amount is $500. Okay. And then we're going to say new entry. So we're going to put in another one. So let's put in Mrs. Cindy White. And this is company name is going to be 24 hours of care. And we're going to 777. I'm making up names as I go. Miller Lane. And this one can be St. John's, Newfoundland. Now, what you need to be careful, which I just did, is I put in a space. If you put a space in your field codes, your spaces will show up when you merge it. So you do need to be careful with that. So again, I'm just going to make up some random postal code here. And she owes 1,000. And I'm going to say okay. So when I say okay here now, that's created my merge list. So now you have the option of where if you want to save it, and I'm going to save it here in my desktop in my merge folder. And I'm going to save it as letter list. Now you're going to specifically save these under names that mean something to you. So if this is your tax file, this is what you're going to say. You're going to save it as tax file or something that's specific. Okay, so when we create the merge, it's going to come up like this. And I'm going to say okay. So what I just saved, that is my database. So when I'm asking you to attach something, it's going to be a database. But now we're going to create a document, and this is where you're going to get your merge codes. So when we insert a merge code, these are all the codes that we just created. We just changed postal code, we just changed province, and we just created this list. And then you're going to have a field. So when you insert these, it's inserting fields, and you have to space everything like you were typing it. So instead of typing Mr. and space Joe, I'm typing title, and I want to put in my space. And then we're going to put in the first name, space, and then we're going to put in the last name. So these are field codes. So when I select these, I know they're field codes. They gray, they change color, they look different. So we know they're field codes. And if I hit my preview toggle, it's going to automatically fill them in for me. See? And I can flick through each one to see how they are. All right. So this is a little preview. This is going to be our main document or our form document, because this is the form that we're filling out. And if we turn this off, the toggle off, is going to show us our field codes again. So now what I'm going to do is I have a video already created that demonstrates walking right through everything. And some of it's probably going to be repeated, but I'm going to start you on the video now. As soon as I can find it. Here we go. All right, so I'm going to turn my mic off. This is a 15-minute video, and then I'll be back. You're going to have to, somebody type in chat and let me know if you can hear the audio. Good morning, everybody. It's Roxanne. I'm going to give you a quick little demonstration of a merge. To begin our merge, let's go into mailings. So we have our Word document open and we're using our tabs across the top. So we're going to open up our mailings ribbon and we're going to start a new mail merge. We're going to use the step-by-step mail merge wizard. Here we have our blank document and here we have our options. So what type of document? We're going to use letters and we're going to go next. We're going to use the current document. We can start from an existing document or we can use a template. We're going to use current document. So we're going to go next. Select recipients. Use an existing list or type a new list. So I'm actually going to show you both. So let's start with type a new list, which is what most of you will have to do. So once you hit type a new list, we're going to have to go create. So here's our new list. So this is where we put in everyone's information. To begin with, look at your list. You'll see that it's in US format. So you'll have state and zip code, etc. So let's customize our columns. So we have title, first name. Now this is where you can put in anything. So if you're sending out billing information to somebody, this is where you would put in total amount owing or total amount due or whatever columns you could possibly need. If you're setting up a date of a booking, then you would have one of your columns set up for booking date. So this is all completely customizable and you can choose what and how much to merge. The more you can merge, the easier your life's going to be. So let's begin with this one. We have first name, last name, company. Let's just be very simple. We're going to change our state. We want to rename it to province. And we want to change our zip code to postal code. You say okay. So let's just say everything else is fine. So we're going to say okay. You can also add or remove anything you don't want as well. So now you would put in the information. And when you're ready for the next one, you would go new entry and you would put into your next contact. So I'm going to cancel that. you would just say okay, and it will give you an option of saving it. And you would want to save it somewhere where you can find it as a data source, and then you'd find it on your desktop. That's usually where I save my stuff. So I'm going to hit cancel, and I'm going to say use an existing one. And we're going to browse, and on my desktop, I have an existing one that I created a few minutes ago. Here it is. So I have Mr. Joe Smith. Okay, so we're going to say okay. I have the information in that we need. I have the address, the communities, postal code, and that's all we're using for this simple merge. Now we're going to begin typing our letter. So all letters must start at the 2-inch top margin. So we have 1 inch, which is our basic header, and then we move down 1 inch. So we're going to put in 3 enters, sorry. So today is March 9th. Okay. Now I'm not going to be too fussy about my formatting and details of the letter. If you need help with any of that, you can let me know. But this is just going to be a quick demonstration of a merge. So now we have our date. We're going to put in our 2 enters, and we're going to put in the address. So you can choose address block, and your address block will give you the address. I really don't like the address block, and I'll show you why. If I put in the address block, I can't format it. I can't change it. I can't do anything. So then when I go to preview my letter, my spacing is always wrong because the spacing is not removed in the address block, and there's no comma after my city, which would be 2 wrongs. So we're going to go back to previous. I'm going to take out the address block, and I'm going to use individual merge codes. So I'm going to put in my title, space, first name, space. Oh, I put it in twice. Space, last name. Enter. Street address. Enter. We're going to go city, comma, space, province. Oops, my goodness. Yes, province it is. Sorry. Space, space, and postal code. Now, we want to remove the spacing. So we're going to do that right now before we do our merge. When you remove spacing, you only select the top 2 lines, not the bottom line. And now we're going to go and write our letter. So our letter is to Dear, and we're going to put in Mr. space or title, because some are misses, and last name. And we'll use open punctuation, so we don't need any. And for the purposes of speeding up the video, I have already typed up some information, so we're just going to paste that in. And now we're going to add our closing. Sincerely, Roxanne. I can't type it all this morning. Browser. Okay. So now let's just say we want to make our letter a little more personal, and we want to include their first name here. Make it look like we're talking directly to them. So I'm going to say title, space, and last name, comma. And then we're also going to have to change that capital L to little one. So this would be my merge form. This is the merge document. It shows the merge codes. If I highlight this document, it's going to show in a dark gray every code that's there. So I know immediately, simply by highlighting it, that those are real merge codes. If you think you're going to fool me and you want to put in arrow title, I know right away it's just typed. Plus, the merge won't work. All right, so this is our form letter. Let's move on. So we're happy with what we have here. Now we're into the preview stage. This is only preview. This is not a completed merge. This is you looking at your letters. So you can choose here to skip through and see all your letters. You can see everything change. You can see the names change, the address change, and even where we added it in the paragraph is matching up as well. So imagine if you had to send a letter out to 100 people, how fast and easy this would make your life. So now what we need to do, because we're happy with it, is we want to finish our mail merge. So when you hit finish your mail merge, you want to look at it as individual documents. So let's do it. We want all the documents. You can also choose here if you only want some of the people in your merge list. If you had hundreds of people, you can individually select who to send it to. So here's my completed merge. Word automatically saves it, as letters 1. We're going to rename it, of course, as completed merge. Because my show hi button is on, I can see immediately the details in this. So I can tell where the enters are. I can tell if something was put in incorrectly, like this comma. It shouldn't be there. That was habit. And it shows the 3 letters that we created in the merge. So there they are. So here's Dr. Sarah Small, Dr. Small. So by creating a merge, it's a very quick way to send the same letter with fillable information to a vast amount of people. Now we would have to save this. This is the completed merge because this is the letters I'm looking for. I'm not looking for this saved. This is not a completed merge. If I can see the field codes when you highlight it, then your merge has not been finished and completed. You need to make sure it is finished and completed. There's going to be 3 documents that you always upload for a merge. So this one now was letter 1, so we want to save it as, I'm just going to save it in my desktop as completed merge. Save it. Excuse me. And we want this one with the form codes. This one is saved as document 62. It tells you how many documents I've had open lately. But this one should have been saved as, this one should have been saved before we merged it, actually. But it should have been saved as file, save as on this PC desktop. This is the merge form. And you can reuse this merge form over and over and over and over. So if it's a letter that you send out often, if you worked in a town office and you were sending out taxes, town taxes are due twice a year, for example, you can use the same letter every time and merge it each time as needed. You would just update your information and continue it. You can use an Excel file for your merge data, which makes it super easy as long as the Excel file is updated with the correct amounts and addresses at all time. You can use that for your merge data file and you can send that off too. So now we have the merge form, which if we choose to preview results, this is just a toggle, it's on and off. So you want to turn it off. So you'll see these are your field codes. This is what I'm looking for in a merge document. We also have the completed merge. The completed merge does not show any field codes because it's been completed. So this is the completed and it'll give you all your letters in one document. And then you want the database. So if we go to our desktop, here's my database merge sample. So if we open it, it will open as a access file. And here it is. So that's the 3 files you're looking for in a merge. And that is, sorry, and that is all that you're going to be needing to do this completed merge. So hopefully that's everything and that helps clear this up a little bit. Let me know. Thanks. All right, good morning. Today we're going to talk about some graph. All right, so that was a demonstration for you on completing a letter for a mail merge. This is seriously brilliant stuff. I want you guys to really, really, really practice this because so many times in my life, this is amazing. So I can't even tell you. Like, it's just such a useful tool. You can do it for anything. Like, even if you were sending out personalized Christmas newsletters to your family and friends, you can make each letter look like it's so personalized, but all the main information is just in a merge form, and therefore you can send it off easy peasy. All right, now we are going to move into the letters and envelopes. Okay. So when you're creating a merge as a letters, um, that's the sample that we just watched, and you just use it as a mail merge and you choose your letters. But you also have the option of creating it as envelopes. So sometimes you don't have to personalize a letter. Sometimes you're sending out flyers or invitations or brochures or whatever to a whole bunch of people. And it's just very plain, very common information. So the actual contents doesn't need to be changed, but it's going to 100 different people. So you don't want to type 100 different envelopes. So if you're going to do that, then you're going to mail merge envelopes. So you're just going to go into your envelopes. And when you choose envelopes, it's going to give you the option of size and printing options. So you would have a look at this stuff. So we're going to look at the various sizes. So this is if you want a large one, if you want envelopes come in different sizes, and that's usually that information is provided on the envelope package. So we're just going to go with a standard size 10, which is a basic letter size. And our font and information is exactly what we want. And our print options will tell you how it prints. So this would depend on your printer, how your printer prints things. So you would need to know how your printer works, and then you would just say, okay. So when you say okay, Word creates the envelope for you. So if I reduce the size of it, you can see that this is just an envelope. So now that you have the envelope created and you were said, okay, well, let's now put a return address in it. So mine is just going to come from me. Oh, not Roxanne. Not Duran. There you go, Roxanne. And now I'm going to hold my Shift Enter to make a line with spacing removed. You can also, of course, type everything and then go into your home and remove spacing, which we've covered several times. And then we're just going to stick in an address, which one I made up a few minutes ago. And now we have the return address. So this will print on every single email, every single envelope that you print. So it's just like the form, the basic information in the form letter. So then, of course, if you wanted it to say, confidential, like we talked about as well, you can do your confidential as your um, mailing notation. I forgot to name it. Here we go. And now we're into the address. So this is where we would want to have the addresses for the people we're working with. So let's say we're going to go into here. Now we have already created that database, which is still attached to this one. So we're going to put in the address the exact same way. So if you do the address block, it will not remove the spacing and not put your commas and stuff in. So we're going to use all the individual ones. So we're going to go title, space, first name, space, last name, and then we're going to go Shift Enter, and then we're going to go company, and we're going to go Shift Enter, and then we're going to insert address 1, Shift Enter, and then we're going to put in our city, where'd I go? Up there. City, space, and we're going to go province, and then it's 1 or 2 spaces. I'm old school, I like 2. And then we're going to put in our postal code. So here we have now a completed envelope with all of our merge fields. Same thing. If you highlight them, you can tell they're gray, so they are codes. So now if you hit your preview, here you go. These are the titles. These are the ones we just entered. They're all ready for us. So if we complete this merge and we go finish a merge, it's going to create a document with 2 envelopes already done. Assume your data had 1,000 people in it. Then when you hit merge, it's going to create 1,000 envelopes for you, already completely perfect. So understanding how to create these and having the merge codes is like going to save you so much time in your life. I actually, honest to God, I do this for my Christmas card list. I have my people saved in a Excel file, and when I need to send out Christmas cards or that's it, I just go in and I merge it to some labels. So this is your envelope form. So if we were keeping this, we would save this as envelope form, and then you would hit your finish merge, and we're going to do it as individual documents because you can print them after. And we want everybody, and we're going to say okay. And here you go. You have 2 perfectly created envelopes. Brilliant. I absolutely love mail merge. All right. So that takes care of that. So now if we said, okay, let's change this up and we don't want an envelope, we actually want it to be labels. So we're going to change this to labels. Now you need to understand labels. So there's continuous feed labels or there's full page labels. Most of what we use now is all full page labels. So you want page printers. And then you have to choose where your label came from. So this is all the different brands of labels that you can get. Most everything that we work with is Avery. And you would choose then in the Avery, you would choose the size that you want. So if we wanted a shipping label, because we're sending out big envelopes this time, it's a bigger, this is a little bit bigger of a label. And you're going to say, okay. So now you have 10 labels, I think it is. Yeah, 10 labels on a page. They're the ones that you would see on a large envelope or on a small package or something like that. So this is going to work the exact same way. So we're going to create a mail merge with our labels. This is what we just done. So we're going to say, okay. And now we're going to select the recipients, which we already did because it should be attached to this document. So if we went edit the recipient list, you can see the 2 people are still there. And then you're going to go into insert your merge fields. So if we insert it, title, space, exact same way. We're going to go first name and we're going to go last name. So now for speed, I'm not going to do the whole thing, but now if we went preview, we should see, oh, I put it in twice. First name in twice. So I'm going to take that out. It's very easy to delete as well. Insert, close. So now if we go preview, we should be able to see all of our recipients. And I'm seeing them on one page. That's not right. Okay, so there's something with my labels that's not right. Continuous feed. Okay. Okay. Select recipients. We've already selected them. We're going to edit them. We want them all. Now, they should show up as a full label. So I have to have a look at that and see why they are not showing up as a full label. But when we finish and merge these, they should not go to individual pages. It should create individual records. So it should go as the next person. All right. So I'm going to have a look at that and see what there must be something there that I'm not checking off. But I will have a check at that and let you know what I've done wrong. But other than that, I'm going to stop the recording because that covers pretty much everything we need covered. And then if you guys have some questions, we can have a little chat. All right, so I figured out what I did wrong with the labels, so I'm going to add that on right now. So we're here and we're going to go start a mail merge and we're going to go labels. And this is the same size label. So here's our label. So this is our form document. Now we want to select our recipients, which I'm going to use an existing list and I have that saved under here. I'm just going to stick this letter list in. And if now we can go and insert our names. So we want to insert our merge. So to make this fast, I'm just going to stick in first name and last name. So first name space last name. So now we have it. Excuse me. So now we hit preview. We see preview. But what we need to do is this update labels, which I totally forgot about. So you need to update the label. And when you hit the update the label, your form codes, your field codes here, jump and update on every record. So now when you preview your results, you're going to see each label completed with everyone that was in your mailing list. So this was the magic button that was missed. So make sure you guys practice that and play with it and become very familiar with it, because this will speed up your work immensely once you get situated in an office. All right, so that covers everything I want to talk about today. So I'm going to end our recording, and if you have any questions, we can chat again.